just been.
After my Stylo 4 died, I decided I was going to get an S9 Plus. Unfortunately, thanks to COVID, it was taking them forever to restock the S9 Plus. So while I waited, I got to use a Moto G7 Play. And you know what? This phone's actually kind of cool.
Alright, and this is goodbye to the Moto G7 Play. I've used this thing for 2 weeks, and you can see that I've kept it in pristine condition. I am going to miss this phone.
My idiot ass didn't record any videos of the S9 Plus, so here are some photos instead. Oh, here we have Jessica's Galaxy S20 Plus Ultra.
Yes. From Wish. It finally showed up. Yesterday. I think I ordered it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I ordered it at the same time I ordered a 3D printer.
3D printer.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this Galaxy S20 Plus Ultra.
Which is Chinese.
Ooh.
That's it.
The pictures didn't show it in plastic.
That is
Ooh.
beautiful.
It's actually kind of cool.
Dang. Should we keep the plastic on it so that Jessica can unbox it and be trolled? All right.
Dude, why are you
It has its own screen protector already on it.
That's cool.
fake?
Oh.
It comes with a case. Wow.
Wow.
This is like almost better than some phones you buy
Whoa,
legitimately. I don't mind that.
Oh, that screen. Ugh.
Okay, so it's not an OLED screen, it's an LCD.
Not even just an LCD. It's like the worst type of LCD possible. Nice boot up sound.
Has great speakers so far.
This phone was like 40 bucks or 50.
44. It looks like it's on a way lower version of Android.
Actually? Oh my gosh. It does. Wait. So it has buttons like it's on Lollipop, right? But this UI is definitely... I'm going to take a guess that this is Android 4.4.
No, it's Android 10.
Wait, what?
Android 8?
It has Oreo, but look at the UI. It's so Android Jelly Bean looking, or Kit Kat. I found an app on the Google Play Store that revealed this phone's true secrets. It is in fact on Android 4.4.2.
Oh. Never mind.
Wait, we have to test the cameras.
Yes. Actually,
Oh, iPhone 3G much? There you go, look at that quality.
honestly surprised about how good this actually is, though. Face lock.
Wait, try the fingerprint scanner. I saw fingerprint when I was in the settings earlier. Oh, touchscreen fingerprint, huh?
Wait, what?
Alright, finish. Whoa! Also, I like how it didn't tell us to put in a password, so we don't even have a backup password.
Wait, what is this even for then?
I think it's just for looks, it's fake.
No, guys.
Okay.
They kind of tried to copy LG's UI, actually. That's kind of what it looks like.
Honestly, the saying says it has 2 speakers and a mic. No, I can record. That sound quality is actually pretty terrible.
Yeah, hold on, let's compare that to the $30 phone.
And I'll make the same recording.
I don't know if that's a whole lot better.
It comes with its own headphones.
Oh god, these are going to be great.
Let's go to everyone's favorite radio station.
It's a good, useful radio.
There we go.
For your safety, read these simple guidelines. Not following them may be dangerous or illegal.
Wait, what?
Don't want to break the law. We better read these guidelines. This is a good song. Okay, copyright, copyright.
It was kind of like instinctually, it's about 8 years old now. Really, any of you look at the people over there. I put really.
And this is a video test of the Samsung Galaxy J3 Orbit. My package arrived, my package arrived. One of my 2 packages arrived. This one's not the coolest of the 2, but probably the most interesting of the 2. Ah, such a nice day, just like every other day. Now that's how you package something. Yes, it does have a charger, and here's the device. Now, this thing is tiny. Is it an iPod? Well, my answer to that is you're right. No, I'm kidding. It's not an iPod. It is, in fact, a Pantech Hotshot. It appears that the Pantech Hotshot has a damaged camera lens. Quite a bit of scuffage. Nugget, you're in my way. Get off! Get... You're a jerk, Nugget. So yeah, it's a little scuffed up, so it's not in the best condition. You can look at the phone when I'm done looking at it, okay? First of all, this is actually kind of a famous phone for being a piece of crap. But let's see if this thing has any juice right now. Oh yeah! There's a reason I bought this, because I actually had one when I was younger. It used to be my stepmom's phone, and then she shattered it and then gave it to me. And I specifically remember smashing the LCD on it, but the LCD still perfectly worked behind all the cracks. You could literally see that the LCD was visibly cracked, but the phone still worked. This thing's smaller than an iPod. Like, that's a... This is a super responsive and fast phone. Games. So, watch me have to pay for these if I want to play them. Maybe not. Oh, cool. I can play them without... Oh, it's a demo version. So, let's see if the seller left any pictures on it. Oh, darn. I thought for a second the seller left pictures on it, but they're stock pictures. Dang it. It's a pretty cool phone. Ooh, and I like this wallpaper is really nice. So, my LG Optimus Exceed 2 finally came. The screen is in literal mint condition, like there's not a scratch or crack or anything. The sides are the same. The only damage is on the back, and it's fairly minimal. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, and that light up home button. This is my favorite feature of this lineup of LG phones. Oh yeah. Ha ha ha. Oh, and it has that animation. I forgot about that animation. This is just a quick video of a crappy welfare phone I got from my grandpa since he got an upgrade. Pretty cool. Cut this. This was actually supposed to be a Moto G7 Optimo Max. You can see here that when I shop in my store, the Moto G7 Optimo Max was $50 on sale. They didn't have it, even though the app said they had it, and I decided not to make a big fuss about it and just buy a different phone. Another phone I was eyeballing was the LG K31 Rebel. It's got an okay design for a cheap phone. It will stand out amongst all my other phones, which have very generic and crappy designs. Just open this. Nobody's gonna read it, they're just gonna sign a contract and not read the fine print, no big deal, even though there is no contract. A rather interesting, kind of cheapo SIM eject tool. And some basic chargers, which are actually gonna be really nice. Is it USB-C? It is USB-C, so this is gonna be really nice. So this is interesting, the phone doesn't have the... Oh, okay, is the back removable? The back is not removable, that's why. Oh, let's peel this off. That will be going on my window. Let's peel the plastic off the camera lens. It also has a Google Assistant button. There's Nugget. Put it right next to the LG K3 sticker.
Look at all these legal documents that, like, nobody's gonna read. Try the Start app. Open the Start app now. So, it has gestures. So anyway, it's mostly set up now, so I think I'm just gonna play with it a little bit. Whoa there. And I'm also gonna be testing out these dual cameras. Are the cameras glass? I think this is the first budget LG phone I've ever had with glass cameras. I think those are glass cameras. Hey everyone, it's X here with LazorVideos, and today we're going to be doing an unboxing and a quick look on the Samsung Galaxy A51. I got this phone from the Straight Talk website. Without further ado, let's open this baby up. Get my good old pocket knife and just cut the tape. What a lovely unboxing experience that is. I forgot to talk about the specs. So the specs, you get a 6.5 inch HD screen. You get Android 10, 128 gigabytes of internal storage, which is pretty awesome. And you get a 32 megapixel main camera. So it has this thing for the Walmart app. Nobody cares about that. Open that up. Okay, I can't do this CV Tech impression anymore. It's like, it's making the unboxing be worse on my end. It was fun. First I'm gonna take the phone out, just gonna put that to the side. Has a nice bit of heft to it, which I do like. Okay, so yeah, landfill. Look at this, it's like a full, and it's, wait, what the, oh, it's, but yeah, look at all this stuff. Are you gonna read all this? Who's gonna read all this? For the one person in one of my unboxings who was like, show everything in the box. Yeah, it comes with the quick reference guide. It comes with an entire user manual. It comes with a random help number to text or whatever. It's also raining right now, so this is a nice rainy weather unboxing. It has this start here guide. Whatever, and it has a terms of conditions, and it has this sticker, which you're supposed to take this and put it on the device, which makes 0 sense. Who's gonna do that? Nobody. That's who. Throw that to the side. It comes with a nice USB-C cable. I'm actually pretty happy about the USB-C cable because I need more USB-C cables. And then it has this charger, and surprisingly the charger doesn't have any plastic around it. Anyways, throw that to the side. And then here we have the Samsung Galaxy A51 with that beautiful Aura back. This is one of my favorite things about this phone. And it has this plastic wrap, which I won't be able to put this on my window really. I can't put that on my window, so that sucks. This looks like it's meant to go on a Galaxy A50 because it has the teardrop notch and the bulkier bezel. But something worth noting about this phone is the back looks like glass, feels like glass, but it's actually plastic. It's very much worth mentioning because you don't want this to get scratched up. So you're gonna want to get a case, and even with a case this might scratch up if it's anything like my Stylo 4. So yeah, I would be aware. Let's boot this fucker up. Oh yeah, look at that, secured by Knox. This is actually now my second best phone in my phone collection, which is kind of funny. I don't like that it has the track phone boot up screen, but whatever. Has a punch hole. This is my first phone with a punch hole. Starting up. Ooh, look at that animation. Service provider. Your device will restart to configure features supported by the new SIM card. Ah, come on, don't do this to me. I don't want to peel this plastic off. Or this sticker. There we go. Let's get that off right now. Yes, accept. Finish. And here we go. This is where I can finally use the phone and dick around and all that and wait for it to load. And check out this One UI 3. Look at that. So beautiful. Whereas my S9 Plus that I'm recording with has One UI 2.5, which sucks. There we go. Look at that. Ooh. But yeah, there you go. That's the Samsung Galaxy A51. This is going to be my new secondary main phone.
Okay, this is going to be one of the crappiest videos I've ever filmed. This came a day earlier than I expected. I am currently sick with COVID. It's 9 in the morning, but I'm too impatient. This is a phone lot that I ordered from Jake Carroll. Cut straight through the... Yes. Oh god. This is beautiful. That's going up on my wall or something. There's a lot going on here. Like, right away, here's a Galaxy S5. And I'm going to go through, like, all these phones individually and figure out what exactly is going on with each of them. There's a ZTE, like, it's one of those high-quality ZTE budget phones. Another phone I was not expecting to see in this phone lot, Galaxy J7, probably a 2017 J7. This is one of my favorite things in this phone lot. This is a Samsung Galaxy A10e that is, like, really messed up in many ways, but it has a good screen, which is exactly what I need from it. Here's the A10e that I have, which works, but has a lot of screen damage. Now here's an iPhone 4S. And then here's the UMX battery. I have this UMX phone. And there we go. Now, what happened to my old battery was it swelled up. Hopefully this battery doesn't do the same thing. So this is the Galaxy S3 that doesn't have a back. Another very nostalgic phone. Samsung Galaxy S Captivate. I see some really interesting things in here. I have another iPhone 4 or 4S. Here is an iPhone 5S. And it just has one crack at the top. Apparently here I have an iPhone 6. And now here's the motherload right here. We have a Google Pixel 3 XL, but it has a shattered back, as you can see, cracked outer glass, and it also has LCD damage. Is that even... the power button's at the top, right? Oh god. An iPhone 6S. That is like mint condition. And I just need to charge it. Oh, Rona. So this is the Samsung Galaxy A10e that used to be my dad's. Well, he was at Walmart, and he dropped it. As you may know, Walmarts usually have a hard tile floor, and if you don't have a case on your phone, glass is glass, and glass breaks. It got D'd. However, it is still functioning. It just has some weird LCD damage from, like, pressure. Because, yeah, see that? It's really easy. You barely have to press on the screen at all for it to do that. And so, I have this Samsung Galaxy A10e that came in the phone lot that Jake Carroll sent me, which this one actually has relatively good condition parts. I almost feel like that whoever bought this phone had it for like 3 days and was a complete nitwit and tried to take it apart, because you may notice this dent here, and if you look, it looks like they really jankily plugged the battery cable back in. I don't actually know what the problem is with this phone, but it seems to not work. This volume up button here is jacked up. So there's a lot of problems with this phone, but it has a perfect screen. What I'm going to do, eventually, not right now, but when I get around to it, I'm going to basically take every single part off of this phone, like every single part from this phone except for the screen is going to go on this screen. Which, yeah, by the way, as you can see, this is like fully functional. It just has LCD damage. Ignore my COVID, it just has LCD damage. And the LCD damage is the main thing, but I also don't like how thick this glass is, and it kind of has like pieces missing, and you can feel the cracks. From this angle, it almost looks like I have 3 A10es. And yeah, that concludes this video. It's about time that I get to work on these A10es. Now, I wanted to wait until I had some nice double-sided sticky tape to properly adhere these phones together. But, to be honest, I don't really care about them that much. So I'm just going to do the part swap and hope for the best. The only thing I think is going to cause me trouble is the buttons, because there's a little strip, like, basically glued to the side. And also, for all my energy needs, I have this. Let's get to work, shall we? So this one is dead simple to take apart. I just go down here where somebody already damaged it. I decided I'm not going to do a battery swap either, because I think both of them have equally good batteries. Try to get this bottom. There we go. It kept sticking back together. And now this
A10E. This one I have never taken apart before. Take the SIM tray out, and yep, there's a SIM card inside that one. Now let's see if we can get this bloody thing apart. There we go. Right around the buttons was a good vantage point. Also, hopefully not F up the LCD display. Oh, this might actually be easier. There we go. Try not to be forceful. Got it. And now we have a shattered A10E, and we want to try to get the motherboard, camera, everything off of this one and onto this one. By the way, this stupid fucking chair thing is the best place I can work. Really hoping this is a success, because if this isn't, then I lose 2 A10Es, and I will have no A10Es left. Okay, got that top bit part, and I also... Damn it. Anyways, let me keep going. That entire A10E just fell. Yeah, this was a horrible work environment for me to choose. There we go. All screws removed from the first A10E. So this part already wants to come off, and I'm perfectly content with that. Next part to take off is that. I'm not even going to bother with like the earpiece. Unplug the battery. And now this is the really sketchy thing. I want to try to get these buttons off. The only way to do that is with this. What? I don't think I need to use that anymore. Now the reason I'm transferring the buttons is because the buttons are screwed up on this A10E. The volume up button is, at least. I want the one that I use to be fully functional. Now I have to be careful because the ribbon connects there. I'll do the button swap right now. It'll be quick and easy. And there's... Oh, the adhesive... I like messed up the adhesive. I want to see if I can actually kind of get it back. This is why I want a double-sided tape, by the way. For this exact reason. I'm going to try to re-stick this. Don't... It's not perfect, but it'll do. I wanted to reuse the adhesive, and it kind of messed that trick up for me. And it did the same thing here, on this one. So that is extremely frustrating. You know what? I have to take this one apart now. This is probably the most anxiety-inducing repair video you've ever seen me do. I don't even need to jack the daughter boards, really. Not a lot needs to be done. I'm like way overthinking this. I just need to swap the motherboards. That's it. I should put that back on as soon as I can. Take that off. I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna unplug these buttons. Huh, I could almost... Will you let me do this, phone? I could almost reuse the adhesive on this. I'm gonna try to do that. Hell yeah! I'm gonna try to peel up this adhesive. That goes on this lower part. Kinda got fucked up in the process, but who cares? Not me. I think I got that on pretty good, other than this little piece hanging off. And now, this. And there you have it. So these fucked up buttons are now gonna go onto the fucked up screen. And yeah, it's barely sticks down anymore because of that one part I like really badly messed up. But now we take these and I'm gonna try to stick these down. I knew this button swap would be the hardest part of this entire process. Again, not perfect, but this is actually way better than that other one. So I guess now I want to try to put this thing back on. I was gonna say, it almost looks like my dad messed up his headphone jack. Nope, don't stop. Now these three. As you can hear, this is an ASMR burb video as well. Say hello to all of my neighborhood burbs. Fuck. Oh, I almost lost that screw. So yeah, just swap the motherboards. I see a single screw for the motherboard on that one as well. The front-facing camera, first of all, just pops right out. Unplug that, and get the antenna things. There we go. The motherboard just comes right out. Look at that. Now let's do all the same crap for this one. Give me the motherboard. And now, all these antenna cables are a nightmare. I'll plug in the front camera. Now I want to see if this thing will turn on. And there you go. Now the Boost Mobile A10e is in my dad's screen, using my dad's daughter board and stuff, and hopefully there aren't any weird bugs that happen with that. And then I'll put this on top. My screw organization got screwed up, but I'm not worried about it. Oh, I never screwed the motherboard in. I'll go ahead and do that real quick. And this is all put together now, right? This is ready for me to put the back on, except now I just like have to move these parts over here. Put this on now. There we go. One A10e is successfully assembled and working. And yeah, the volume up button doesn't work. I freaked out for a second. I was like, oh no, this button doesn't work. But then I remembered it was like that before. I'll put a SIM tray in it. There we go. Now let's do this A10e. Motherboard seats into place. Front-facing camera. But let's see if this works. There she is! And now it's just putting in screws. And now I'm going to remember to put in the motherboard screw. There we go. Woo! That was annoying. So I got a cotton swab to clean the camera. Now let's clean this one. And now let's stick this thing back together. And now let's put in my dad's SIM card, even though technically I don't need it. Yeah, that works. And yeah, I'll thoroughly test these A10es later and see if they have any issues, but I think that we have a winner chicken dinner. Thanks for watching my pain and suffering for 44 minutes, although it's going to be edited down quite a bit, but yes. My poor financial decision has arrived. Oh, this is one of those weird eBay boxes that opens. Yep. This phone is huge, what the heck? And here it is, the Moto G7 Optimo Max. And it has a charge. Sweet. This is basically like a replacement for the Moto G7 Play that I used to have. Hello, Moto. It's just better spec'd in a few ways. Oh, that ringtone. Ugh. I kind of like the design of it more. And, I missed you, Motorola. By the way, that is my favorite feature and the sole reason I've wanted a Motorola. This stuff on it, I guess that's permanent, but yeah, it's got a dent there. It's got a dent there. It's got a dent there. It looks to me like this thing was in a case. There's like a really cheap, crappy case. And it has this awesome UI, which I think it's on Android 10. It came out on Android 9, but it should be on Android 10 now. Oh, it is on Android 9. Oh yeah, I need internet to update it. I might leave it on Android 9. I'm not sure. And by the way, I got this thing for 40 bucks. Anyways, this has just been rambling. This is a new phone I got. Alongside all of my phones, I also have some other tech in this drawer, which is where I keep my phones. First of all, I have my old 3DS, my childhood one. It works perfectly, but it's in terrible condition. There you go. It even holds a charge, which is kind of surprising considering how old it is. I also have a Sony PSP 3000. It needs to be cleaned. This also does work. I just need a battery and a back cover for it. I also have this vintage Texas Instruments graphing calculator, which also works. And I stress tested it in the 112-degree weather that we had during the summer. It's also the only graphing calculator I have, and I used it for school, so even one of my math teachers kind of made fun of me for having such an old calculator, but whatever. Fun fact, I still have my original Nexus 7, even though it's really seen better days. Deeper grooves at a level 7. However, it does still work. I wonder if it still has a charge. It does not still have a charge. It doesn't work perfectly. It needs a new LCD, but I also have this Nexus 7 2012 edition, because by the way, that's a Nexus 7 2013 edition. And as you can see, this thing works perfectly, and it's in mint condition. However, I think this is a refurb, because it's stuck on Android Jelly Bean. This tablet's supposed to have Lollipop, but it's stuck on Jelly Bean. It's also really slow and basically useless nowadays, but works fine. And then finally, my Nvidia Shield. Yeah, so you can see these cracks here. This tablet works perfectly, it just needs a new battery. And I think the battery is toast on it right now, so it's not going to turn on, but... And there you go. I think a good part of a sweet ending for my channel is to cover my phone collection. Over the years, and over all the videos I've made on my channel, I've had people say, you should make a video about your phone collection. That would be super cool. The problem was, I never really had a phone collection. Like, yeah, I collected phones, but I never really got that much phones. And well, it took this long, but I think I actually have something worth showing. It does all fit into one box, though. People like PsychYT and TechnoMemeYT have, like, a lot of phones. Whereas pretty much the whole time I've been doing YouTube, I had between 5 to 10 phones. But you're now gonna learn the whole story about each phone individually. By the way, I'm going from like worst to best. I'm considering this phone my worst. This is the Pantech Hotshot from Verizon. This is a Verizon feature phone. And this thing has like a tiny screen. It doesn't run Android. It's pretty thin and has a really nice design though. And so it's technically my worst phone, but it's also one of my favorites because it's really nostalgic. This phone's nostalgic because my stepmom had this when I was growing up. And I was obviously interested in phones, but I never really had any good phones. So I was kind of envious of my stepmom having this thing. Which is hilarious because it's kind of a piece of crap and there were better phones out at the time. I just hadn't ever had a touchscreen phone. Except for the Samsung Gravity Touch. There's a boot up sound, by the way, which is pretty nice. I got this thing for $7 on eBay. $7! And that was with free shipping. The operating system is Brew MP. So that's fun. They have demo games that you can play like 3 times and then you have to buy them. But there's no way to buy it because I can't connect to the internet because this thing doesn't have Wi-Fi. It's just a nostalgic phone and it has a nice design to me. And so yeah, that's it for the Pantech Hotshot. Next up is the Alcatel Pixie Unite. This is just like some cheap kind of budget phone from a while ago. This used to be my grandpa's sister's. And fun fact, this still had his sister's Google account on it, and so I had to bypass Google Lock. It really is fun to bypass Google Lock on a phone as slow as this thing. Anyways, the only reason I like to keep this thing is because of the glorious boot up sound. Yeah, that boot up sounds nostalgic. Anyone who were earlier fans of Plain Rock 124 and know about the beginning of board-smashing grocery store phones, he smashed an Alcatel Pixie Glitz and also some other Alcatel flip phone, and both of those phones made that boot up sound. On top of that, around that same era, I bought an Alcatel Ideal, and that also had the same boot up sound. Another thing I noticed from Plain Rock's video on the Alcatel phones is they have that Alcatel boot up sound. I love that sound, so I hope this one does the same sound. Yay! Ah, screw you, AT&T. So yeah, that boot up sounds just really nostalgic to me. Otherwise, I couldn't stand using this phone. It's super slow and crappy. It is like basically stock Android, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, just look how slow this phone is. Come on. Go. Load. Yeah, it can get pretty bright as well. Look how bright that is. Wow. Come on. There we go. The settings finally loaded. And so yeah, this phone is on Marshmallow, which is actually relatively recent. Now this one might be a shocker to you guys. Some of you watched my unboxing of this phone, and you might be curious why it's cracked. This is my ZTE Maven 3, one of the phones that I actually bought with my own money. And yeah, I've kept it in pretty good condition, except for that. Guess what? This is not my fault. Can you believe it? It's not my fault. That's my friend Andrew's fault. If you've seen the Mega Vlog, you've seen a ton of Andrew. I had a Dollar Tree iPhone 10 screen protector on this thing. Not even that saved it. Oh, it didn't make the sound. I have to redo that. Please hold. While I resituate that, check out this beautiful sunset. Okay, I fixed it. When it comes to the AT&T boot up sound, I didn't like it at first, but it's kind of worn in on me. And so yeah, this is another phone that I find really cool design-wise, but I could just never use. Like, I mean, look at this. ZTE, like, they designed some really nice-looking phones. especially budget phones. This phone was $30, and for $30, that is a pretty dope design. It just sucks that it had to be cracked. Also, the screen on this thing kind of sucks balls. It actually looks really good on camera compared to, like, with your own eyes. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty responsive phone. It just doesn't have enough storage, really. But either way, it's nice for my collection, even with a big crack in it. Next up is one of my most interesting phones in my collection. This is what I call the Wish phone, but in reality it's the ALPS X27 Plus. I mean, that's just like one of the names that it goes by, but it goes by other names as well. Andrew bought this phone off Wish. When you're scrolling through like Wish and sometimes eBay too, you'll see these like phones, these like listings that show phones with like bezel-less screens, and they're like paper thin, and they're like $40. And so Andrew was like, you know, I kind of want to buy that and see what it actually looks like. And well, yeah, this they tried to fake a notch, but they did such a bad job. It's just hysterical. Because this has a TFT screen with an air gap, and yet they tried to fake a notch with like this black border. But whatever. It is pretty neat that it came with a case and a screen protector. I took the screen protector off because I kind of hate plastic screen protectors. This is kind of like a comfortable phone to hold, surprisingly. A lot of people hate glossy plastic, but for me, I like glossy plastic. It just feels nice to hold. This is very clearly based off of like a Vivo phone. The AI Vision camera from Leica. This time you can actually see how bad the screen is. Gotta love that, like, Android 2 boot up screen. By the way, it tries to pretend like it has dual speakers, but it only has one. By the way, when I got it, it tried to pretend that it had 64 gigabytes of storage, but it only actually has 4. Fun fact, there's a secret menu you can access with the quick shortcut maker in order to actually change that. I could make this thing have 256 gigabytes if I wanted. It also likes to pretend that it has Android 8, but it very clearly has Android 4.4 KitKat. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, this sort of recent app screen is definitely something you'd see on Android 8. Oh yeah, this notification shade is definitely something you would see on Android 8, yep. And yeah, this phone has like a horrible touch screen. It's super unresponsive. It probably has spyware on it. So yeah, I just don't have it connected to any networks, and I just keep it for fun. And I only keep this phone just because of how bad it really is. It's like hilariously bad. Oh yeah, and by the way, this is a fake fingerprint scanner. Next up on the list is this UMX phone. Yes, I unironically keep a UMX phone. This is like literally a welfare phone. Like my grandpa signed up for the welfare phone service or whatever, and like the government sends you a phone. And well, he gave me this one because they had like a refresh or whatever, and I might get his refresh when he gets a new refresh. And fun fact, good old person fashion, grandpa kept this thing plugged in a lot, so the battery was swollen when I got it. And so the battery that's currently in this one actually came from Jake Carroll. Thanks, Jake Carroll. And yes, it has Android Go. There's no real particular reason why I keep this phone other than, I don't know, I just think it's kind of cool. It has like an awful screen, awful specs, runs like crap. Although this one is actually like usable. It's more usable than the ZT Maven 3, which I just find hilarious. And yeah, if I open this thing up in DevCheck, once DevCheck loads, here you go, it has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 210. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but in DevCheck, the Wish phone says it has a 70Hz screen. Anyways, as I was saying, I got distracted. This has 1 gigabyte of RAM, and it has 5.1 gigabytes of internal storage. But there's a lot of it free, because this has Android Go, which means the OS doesn't take up the entire phone. And as you can see, there's notifications coming in, because, yeah, this phone is usable, although I hate using it because of the awful screen. But, that's that one. Oh wait, no, it's not that one. Fuck. Okay, well I couldn't show it because I was an idiot and forgot to. But this thing is on Android 8, which I'd say is pretty recent. Next up, this boy. So I did a video on me repairing my Galaxy player. This is probably like a pretty rare device, actually. It also has one of my favorite boot up sounds of all my devices. Beautiful. And there you go. Galaxy Player. So yeah, this phone had, well, not really a phone, more of like an MP3 player, but I'm gonna call it a phone anyways, because it's the same form factor, and it literally has an earpiece. But yeah, I mostly keep this thing for nostalgia, because this is like literally the first Android phone I got. And as you can see, this is on 2.3.5 Gingerbread, so that's archaic. Yeah, check out this app switcher. And a lot of times when I was using this phone, you'd very frequently see me doing this. Going over to here, exiting all my active applications, then going to RAM, and then clearing my memory, just so it would run a little bit faster. A bunch of my old videos were recorded with this thing, and just, yeah. I'm really glad that I forced myself to keep it, by the way, and fix it. It really paid off. Next up, I have the LG Optimus Zone 3. This is another phone that I bought myself with bottle drop money. This costed $25 at Walgreens. When I bought the Alcatel Ideal, I originally wanted to buy this phone. And then yeah, I just like the design of this phone. It's kind of got a unique design to it for a budget phone. With this cool, like, bottom border. This one actually has some damage. I dropped it a couple of times because I actually used it as a secondary. I had my Stylo 2 as my main, and this was my secondary for a little bit. This one doesn't have a boot up sound, but whatever. Also, you may notice the screen's like slightly red. That's just like a weird thing about the screen on this phone. It just kind of has a red tint to it. Like, it's barely noticeable when you're actually using the phone. Everybody loves to see this screen when there's... well... This phone has a TFT screen, as you can see, but when you're actually using it, it doesn't really look that bad. Like, it actually has an okay TFT screen. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about it. I took this to Lake Selmac in the Lake Selmac video. And as you can see, this phone is on Android 5.1.1 Lollipop. Lollipop. Ooh. Fun minigame. And this phone is actually kind of nostalgic because I got it so long ago. So, that's that. Next up, we have the Alcatel Tetra. Another phone that I bought with bottle drop money. And I also got this one from Walgreens. You may notice it has an iPhone 10 screen protector on it. Because yeah, Dollar Tree has iPhone screen protectors, and they actually work pretty well for, like, other phones, which is kind of funny. And like I mentioned earlier, the ZT Maven 3 also had one, but it didn't really protect it from that freaking corner smash. And yeah, the Alcatel Tetra is probably one of my least interesting phones, to be honest. Like, it's technically better than the Zone 3 and the Maven 3, spec-wise and being a usable phone-wise, but design-wise, this thing is just kind of boring and cheap-looking. It's one of those budget phones that just looks like all the rest. It doesn't even really match Alcatel's style that well. But I mean, hey, it has a textured power button, so that's kind of cool, I guess. And if I didn't have enough complaints about this phone already, listen to this terrible boot-up sound. I mean, it has an okay boot-up sound, but it's not the original, which was way better. And yeah, fun fact, this was actually my main phone for a while, because after my LG Stylo 4 died on me, I could either go to my Stylo 2, but it's like really laggy because it has like a bad NAND or whatever. I could go to my iPhone 6, but I just don't really enjoy using iPhones that much. But I still did use the iPhone 6, by the way, because it was the second best phone I had. But one of my fallbacks was this phone, and I actually used it. I never enjoyed using this phone for plenty of reasons. The touchscreen is just awful to type on. Like, I type so fast that it would confuse the touchscreen and like click random spots. It sounds fake, but trust me, that's actually a thing that this phone did. This phone like has okay specs. I feel like it would feel a lot smoother if it would just had a better touchscreen. But the thing that really sets this phone apart from the LG Optimus Zone 3 and the ZT Maven 3, instead of 8 GB of storage, it has 16, which means I can actually have apps on it. Wow. But yeah, that's like about all this phone had going for it. Although one cool thing is that it runs stock Android. Stock Android 8.1 Oreo. And for a TFT screen, it looks okay. It's not great. I'd say the Zone 3 is better. Ooh, look at the octopus. And that's really about all I can say for this phone. I can only record a few more because it's getting dark. Next up, some of you might recognize this phone. Yeah, LG Optimus Exceed 2. So this isn't the original one I had, of course. I broke that, and I did eventually end up smashing it, but I never released the video just because I kind of felt guilty about smashing it. I just wasn't having a good day and I had to vent, and so I vented on my Exceed 2. And so not too long ago, I decided to buy another one off of eBay. I bought this about the same time I bought the Pantech Hotshot. I was kind of going on a nostalgia trip and I wanted to get two of the most nostalgic phones. I got this thing for a whopping $20, which is only $5 more than I got my original one. Because yes, I got my original one for $15 from Amazon, brand new. That is just bonkers. I still can't believe I got it for that cheap. If I'm being honest, if this thing just could get an Android update to like Marshmallow, this would be a usable phone. Like, I kid you not. I could secondary main this phone still. And it has that epic light up home button. Man, do I miss that epic light up home button. And to me, I just really like the design of this phone. LG did it right with this thing, man. And for a budget phone, this thing has an IPS screen for once. You just can't say no to this thing for a lot of reasons. Like, once it boots up, this thing runs butter smooth. The only things that set this thing back are the storage. It only has 4 gigabytes of storage, and it's on 4.4.2 KitKat, which is a fun OS, but not usable nowadays. Tasty. And so yeah, that just about does it for this phone. This phone just makes me miss the old days, man. And that notification sound, it's so nostalgic. Ah! Next up, we're finally getting to stuff from Jake Carroll's phone lot. The next phone is an iPhone 4S, unfortunately with a shattered screen. But, I mean, it's cool. As you guys may or may not know, PsychYT gave me an iPhone 4S back in like 2016 or whatever. And yeah, this phone works, but it's just dead right now. And I don't have a 30-pin charger anymore. But still cool regardless. I really like the design of the iPhone 4 and 4S. Speaking of the iPhone 4, that is our next phone. As you can see, it has the top antenna band. Now, I don't know if this has to do with it being an iPhone 4 or if this is like a replacement housing, but it's like brushed steel, and I just think that looks really cool. And unlike the 4S, this one still has a good condition screen and back. I mean, the 4S had a good condition back, but this one has a good condition screen. It actually has charge. Yeah, this one has some LCD damage, which kind of sucks. Like, whoa, you can see the backlight going through the screen. This has to be a replacement screen. I've never seen that before on that is not Apple-like. But yeah, I mean, the screen is still nice. It's about the same quality otherwise as a normal 4 screen. As you can see, this one's on iOS 7.1.2. Now, this is actually a nostalgic phone to me because one of the very first iPhones I ever got to use was an iPhone 4. It was either a 4 or 4S. I think it was a 4S, actually. That was the first time I played Angry Birds. Man. And that was like, I don't even know whose iPhone 4 I used, but it was just like some person in the family, I don't know. But my mom also had an iPhone 4S, so that's fun. In fact, my mom getting an iPhone 4S and giving my sister her old 3GS is why I got my sister's 3G. I got the 3G in like 2011 or earlier. I don't even remember. I could have sworn that there was LCD damage on the bottom, but it seems to be gone. But yeah, there's still some at the top. This home button barely works at all. Like, you have to click it kind of hard. Yeah, and that's why I have Assistive Touch on. I still kind of like having this. And so yeah, I think that this is a replacement screen and housing, and that's why the housing is brushed. But I kind of like the brushed look more than, like, the normal look. Yeah, you can really tell how dark it's getting now. I'm gonna have to end the production of this video for today. I'm gonna do a couple more though. So this is also from Jake Carroll's phone lot. This is a Samsung Galaxy Captivate Glide, I think. I thought it was called a Galaxy S Captivate, but when I looked it up on Google, it said Galaxy Captivate Glide. The reason I asked him to put this in the phone lot is because I thought that this was the first Android phone that I ever used. But a little bit of extra research tells me that no, actually, the first Android phone I ever used is a Galaxy Epic. However, the Galaxy Epic is very similar to this phone, so you could see why I made the mistake. But the Galaxy Epic is a Sprint phone, and I'm pretty sure that the friend who let me use it is very frequently on Sprint. Either way, I still like this phone because it is still kind of nostalgic, because it has the same feel as the Galaxy Epic. The main difference is this phone is just a bit smaller. And it also has an AT&T boot up animation. For a phone that came out in 2012, like, man, this thing is awesome. It has like a great camera, a great screen. It's just pretty cool. It like runs butter smooth compared to the Galaxy Player. I mean, like, for the time that this came out, which was 2012, it has like a quad-core processor and a gigabyte of RAM, which is a lot for an old phone. At least I think it was a quad-core processor. It might have been dual-core, I don't know. And yes, this phone is on 4.0.4, but it came out on 2.3. I think ice cream sandwich phones are like pretty difficult to find, and it has the greatest Easter egg ever. That is just cool. That's like one of the coolest Easter eggs ever. And, of course, it has a slide-up keyboard. And you can actually, like, use the phone with this keyboard, although it's kind of torture. That concludes that phone. And as you can see, it is very dark out now, so this is going to be the last device for today. This iPod Touch 5th generation. Again, just a really nostalgic device, because around the time I got my Galaxy Player, my cousin got an iPod Touch 5th generation. Although her iPod Touch 5th generation was one of the cheaper ones that didn't have a camera. So yeah, I got this one from my mom while I was in Seattle, which, by the way, if you watched the mega vlog, you saw that. And this iPod works almost perfectly. The only issue with it is the microphone doesn't really work very well. In fact, the microphone doesn't work at all. And this also just kind of has a drained battery, but that's to be expected with Apple products, especially smaller Apple products. But yeah, I was kind of jealous of my cousin's iPod back in the day, because it was just like way better than my Galaxy Player in almost every way. I mean, not every way. My Galaxy Player had better speakers, it had a vibrate motor, and it could actually work like a phone. But yeah, so it's just kind of nice to finally have an iPod Touch 5th generation, especially because I've kind of grown up my whole life wanting an iPod Touch. Because like everybody else around me had some sort of iPod Touch, and I was stuck with an iPod Nano. I have this set to German. Code eingeben, nach dem Neustart benötigt Ihr iPod Touch Ihren Code. Yeah, I'm such a good German speaker. Don't record that, my password. And yeah, as you can see, Batterie fast leer. Schließen. It's kind of funny to have it set to German. I don't really use this for anything, I just dick around with it sometimes. Some of my Seattle memories are on this iPod Touch. You can see here, there's like the resin things I made with my mom while I was there. There's this giant campfire we had, which was cool. And as you can see, the version is 9.3.5, which I think was the same as the iPhone 4. Because yeah, this thing basically has iPhone 4 specs. Still better than the Galaxy Player though. And that concludes that. Ausschalten. And yeah, it has this girly silicone case on it, but of course I keep the case on it because it protects the device. And I kind of like silicone cases, they have a nice feel to them. A nice like rubbery feel. And I don't mind displaying my girliness sometimes. And so yeah, that concludes this for now. It's way too dark. Look at that sunset. I am back, and as you can see, it is no longer super dark out. Next up, we have another phone from Jake Carroll's phone lot, but it's also kind of nostalgic for reasons. This is an Apple iPhone 5S. I know that like a lot of people had the iPhone 5S back at my middle school. And again, I was jealous. This is around the time when I was starting to not like Apple as much as Android. But nonetheless, I really liked the design of this phone. This phone's also nostalgic because it's another phone that PsychYT gave me. Though, to be fair, the phone that Psych gave me was in terrible condition and had an iCloud account on it. I even replaced the screen on that iPhone 5S. This one's working perfectly, but I've not really bothered to sort of set it up. As you can see, a bunch of the apps need to be downloaded. It's not really a usable phone nowadays. It's usable, but it's not something I'd ever want to use. And it does kind of suck that it has this small crack, but it's better than a shattered screen, that's for sure. Moving on, a Samsung Galaxy S3 with this awful plastic screen protector. It also needs a back cover, which, no big deal. And it has a shattered camera lens, but also no big deal because none of the cracks actually cross the camera. But anyways, it still works. So, the Galaxy S3. I don't really have any experience with the Galaxy S3. See, that's a nostalgic boot up tone. And yeah, this is a Verizon S3, but it doesn't have the ugly Verizon logo at the bottom, so that's cool. Right, this phone's just from a certain time era of my life. It's nostalgic to use it, even though I've never actually really used one before. I had one friend in middle school who had one of these, and I never actually got to use their phone or play around with it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but the iPhone 5S is on iOS 10, I think. The Galaxy S3 is on Android 4.4.2. You can probably barely see that. So that's pretty cool. And just, yeah, I actually really like the design of this phone as well. It's one of Samsung's more unique designs, because they kind of tried to take a nature approach with this phone, and so they gave it these round edges, kind of make it feel like a pebble, I guess. Like the default lock animation is like weird water sounds, which sounds awful, so I changed it to the light one, which I like more. Moving on. This next phone is kind of a staple of my channel a little bit. The LG Stylo 2. I recorded so much of my content with this phone. This exact one, too. Look at the condition it's in. It's actually crazy to think that I used this phone for like 2 years straight without a case. I've even dropped it a few times. Like, there's some obvious signs that I've dropped it. And I managed to not crack the screen. And the reason I keep this phone is definitely sentimental value. I used this thing throughout a lot of high school. Barely audible, but yeah, it's fine. You'll hear that sound plenty more times because LG didn't really change their boot animation much throughout the years. And yeah, this is probably one of the phones I was like most excited for when unboxing it. This was my first phone with a 720p screen. I went from an Alcatel Ideal to an iPhone 4S, and then I was going to go to this. And it served me well for quite a while. It was quite a usable phone, and I really liked using it. You know, I felt cool, like I finally had a cool phone. And obviously, it has a freaking stylus, so I could flex on all those Samsung Galaxy Note users. It's really laggy now. This phone is technically usable, other than the fact that like it has like a dying NAND or whatever. And so it feels responsive in some scenarios, and then other times, it just like doesn't work. Like it's just really slow. Waiting for the settings to load and stuff like that. And trying to click the task switcher and waiting for it to load. Like it's still fully functional. It's just really slow and painful. The LG Stylo 4 is on Android 7.0 Nougat. It actually came out on 6.0 Marshmallow, but it got an update, so that's pretty cool. I just keep it for that sentimental value. Even if it completely dies and starts boot looping, I'm gonna keep it for sentimental value. Oh, and there's a nice little Easter egg on this Stylo 4 as well. It has stickers from Morning Yuck Remover. Moving on. Next up on the list, the Samsung Galaxy J7 Perks. Also, if I ever called the Stylo 2 Stylo 4, oopsie. Unlike most of the phones I have, this one isn't nostalgic. I just kind of like it. And this is actually one of my semi-main phones. And then, yeah, this one came from J. Carroll's phone lot, by the way. This one was also actually Google locked, and I bypassed it. I spent hours trying to bypass it. And by the way, I used the SIM card bypass. That's like what my home screen looks like. It's a picture of a really cool looking moth. And yeah, this phone is like kind of slow because it runs Samsung UI like before it was One UI. As you can see, it has like this cruddy UI. And you can see I have like custom like notification shade. That one, because I hate the UI of this phone. So yeah, this one's stuck on 8.1.0 Oreo. It isn't terrible, I guess. And yeah, I've pretty much made this my Minecraft phone. As you can see here, I have Minecraft on it. And it still has like pretty decent battery life too. So yeah, that's about it for this phone. It's not nostalgic or anything. I just like it. It's just a cool phone. Next up, another phone from J. Carroll's phone lot. So this is a Samsung Galaxy S5 on Verizon. Now the Galaxy S5 is another nostalgic phone for me, because my aunt, for the longest time, had been using a Samsung Galaxy S2. And then she finally upgraded from her Galaxy S2 to the Galaxy S5 as soon as the Galaxy S5 came out. And as you can imagine, I was pretty damn jealous. I didn't quite have my LG Optimus XC2 at the time. I know that I did get my LG Optimus XC2 around the time my aunt had a Galaxy S5. And I was basically just jealous of the camera and slow-mo recording abilities. Anyways, unfortunately, this Galaxy S5 isn't really the best specimen. Because while it's in okay condition for probably what other S5s you would find, somebody who previously owned this Galaxy S5 decided that they wanted to put a custom ROM on it. As you can see, the custom ROM is pretty cool actually. I like the UI of this custom ROM a lot, but here's the thing. Custom ROMs just don't go well with a lot of phones. This is no exception. For example, if I want to open the camera on this phone, Oh wow. Way to prove me wrong on camera. But the camera, like, doesn't work half the time. Like, as you can see on the apps list, there's no camera app because, like, 90% of the time, the camera doesn't work. You may also notice that it's barely charged. I left this thing plugged in forever and it just doesn't charge. Another thing is like, half the time, this phone just boot loops. Like, sometimes I just can't get it to boot up. I mean, other than those issues, this custom ROM is nice. It just doesn't work well with this phone. You also might not be able to tell very easily, but this phone actually has a slight burn-in. You can actually kind of see like the Samsung keyboard burned into the screen. Somebody used this to text a lot. But yeah, either way, despite the OS being kind of shitty, I still like this phone just for the design and the nostalgia. Which, by the way, this is Lineage OS. And it's on Android 9, which, by the way, it actually properly has the paint thing, which a bunch of my other Pi phones don't have, so that's fun. And I think it just died. Yep, it just died. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's nostalgic because my aunt had this phone and I was jealous for it. And I actually remember like watching TechRax's Smash video of this phone when it came out and like the battery exploded, and I thought that was hilarious. Next up, I have an iPhone 6. This isn't my iPhone 6 though. This is an iPhone 6 from Jake Carroll's phone lot. And I'm not going to say much about it because I'm going to wait until I get to my iPhone 6. But yeah, this one is in okay condition. It could be better. It has a scratch and it has dings all over it. But the really unfortunate thing is, while this phone does work, it may seem like it's working perfectly right now, but yep, there you go. It has touch disease. I never plan to use this phone. I might use it for parts. I don't know. This phone is very, very sad. Let's just say that. Come on. Open. Yeah, this is... So I'm not going to show the iOS version, but it's on iOS 12, I think. This thing is basically stuck powered on now because... yeah. Right after that, we have another J device. This is a Samsung Galaxy J3 Orbit. Now you may remember I did a Smash video on a Galaxy J3 Luna Pro and called it a Galaxy J3 Orbit. That's because this phone and that J3 both came from somebody I know named Jessica. And she told me that the J3 Luna Pro was a J3 Orbit when actually this was the J3 Orbit. And she was using this as a secondary phone for quite a while. But she also had a J7, I remember that much. But then we got a phone plan where I got my S9 Plus and she got a Moto G7 Play. Moto G7 Play is actually a really good phone. I also want to get another one of those. Because, by the way, her Moto G7 Play is no longer in the world. It's very sad. It's in heaven now. They were cleaning out the car, and I don't exactly remember what led to this point, but she gave me this phone. Like, I don't even think I asked for it. She just gave me this phone. Which, you know what, is pretty cool, because I actually like this phone quite a bit. Fun fact, this crack used to be up here, but since the camera lens is symmetrical, I was able to just, like, pop it off and flip it the other way around. It also has this, like, gnarly dent in it. This thing has been through hell and back. Like, it's very badly damaged. Looks like it got stabbed with a screwdriver right there. Despite all of that, it actually still works. And so here we go. I've used this phone for quite a bit as well, as you can see. And this one is also on Android 9. But the Easter egg doesn't work properly for some reason, which is annoying. Anyways, that's about it for this phone. Funny thing was when she initially gave it to me, I was kind of planning on smashing it, but it's actually kind of cool. 2 Samsung Galaxy A10es. This Galaxy A10e used to be my dad's. As you can see, it's in rough shape and has a shattered screen. My dad bought an iPhone 11 to replace it, and he gave me this one. I actually plan to use this phone after I fix the screen. How am I going to fix the screen? Well, I have this other A10e with a good screen, but it has a bunch of other weird damage. I think there's kind of a hilarious story behind this A10e. So basically, the circumstances with this phone were, it had the default wallpaper, it had a pattern but no Google account, and there's no SIM card installed in it. There was a bunch of pry damage. It looks like it's, you know, somebody tried to take it apart who didn't know how to take it apart. Like, there's just pry damage all over the place. And the SIM tray was still inside it, and they tried to take the back off without taking out the SIM tray. Here's my guess as to what happened. Some dumbass bought this phone brand new, and they were trying to set it up with their service, but it didn't have the SIM card inside it. And so, they had to put the SIM card inside it, but they didn't know how. I guess they never saw the SIM eject tool or saw any instructions on how to put the SIM card inside. And so what did they do? You know, they probably came from a phone with a back cover, like, you know, a lot of cheap phones. So they were probably like, okay, let me just get the back cover off. Oh, what the fuck? This back cover is really hard to take off. What the heck? So they get a freaking screwdriver or something. I don't know what they used. But they, like, pried the back cover off. Oh. At the bottom here, you have, like, this whole thing broken up and pry damage on the actual screen. So that's lovely. So, yeah, I think they were trying to get the SIM card in, and they basically destroyed the phone trying. Because the battery just wasn't plugged in. Like, they didn't plug in the battery properly when they were putting it back together. The phone is in perfect condition otherwise. And I was able to reset it, and it works perfectly. So anyways, yeah, what I plan on doing, which you've probably already seen, is taking all of the parts from this and basically swapping them with the screen on the other A10e I have. Because this is the Boost Mobile A10e, and my dad's A10e was a Straight Talk one. My dad's A10e has Android 11. This A10e is on One UI 1.1 and has Android 9. And so yeah, that's going to be a fun experience doing the part swaps. And by the way, my dad's A10e also works, but the battery is dead. But here you go, my dad's A10e is on One UI 3.1 and has Android 11. So I plan to use this one, I just need to do the screen swap, pretty much. I also have a phone very similar to the A10e, but from LG, the LG K31 Rebel. And this phone is basically in mint condition because I bought it for $39 at Walmart, which I think is a pretty good deal considering it's actually a really nice phone. Other than, unfortunately, mine is defective and has a bad Wi-Fi antenna and other problems, but anyways, it even has a dual camera setup, and overall just a really nice design. And, of course, it works! And so here's this phone. Pretty cool. I would love to use this phone frequently, but I just don't because the internet antenna on this phone is like defective. It works, but it's just very intermittent when it comes to working. And this phone is on Android 10, which is kind of neat. And I also have the gestures, which is really janky on this phone. It's hilariously janky. And that concludes this phone. And next up is a Moto G7 Optimo Max. Now, fun fact, before I got my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, I had to use a Moto G7 Play. And I actually really quite liked the Moto G7 Play. The Moto G7 Play was like a pretty damn good phone for being the penny phone. Recently, I had some money I wanted to spend to get rid of because my bank is depleting my amount of money by charging a monthly service fee. So yeah, I was just like, I'll just buy this thing, whatever. And I already don't regret it, even though this thing isn't in the best of condition. It has little bits of damage all over it. As you can see, this looks like it's dirt that you could wipe off, but that's actually like damage, probably from a case that whoever previously owned this had on it. Like $40 and works perfectly. And the main reason I decided to buy it was because I'm already a little bit nostalgic for the Moto G7 Play and I miss doing this. Yep. Like, I've seen YouTubers talk about that in Moto phone reviews before, and I'm just like, whatever, that's a little gimmicky. But that's actually extremely useful. I found myself using that a lot more than you would think. I still have yet to set it up and do anything with it, because I literally just got it. And now, back to Apple devices. Here I have my actual personal iPhone 6. And yes, I still have the same Dollar Tree case I originally got for it. You can see I tried to carve my name into it with a Dremel. That worked really well. And there's a Lenny face I drew on it with a pen a long time ago, and it's still kind of visible, which is funny. Yeah, my screen has seen better days. There's a few scratches, like down here and stuff. It's crazy that I got this thing like 3 years after it came out, and it still was like a decent phone when I got it. Other than, in a lot of ways, it was too slow for me. Like, especially uploading to Google Drive. Like, since I recorded a ton of videos on this thing, I had to upload all the videos I filmed on Google Drive, and then download them on my Android phone. Yeah, uploading to Google Drive was super slow on this thing. But either way, there you go. iPhone 6, and it still has all of my stuff on it. And this iPhone 6 doesn't have touch disease, so I can actually show you what version it's on. iOS 12.5.5, and it's named Weapon. Maximum capacity 93%. And I mean, yeah, I could still use this phone from time to time if I wanted to. I played a lot of Geometry Dash World on this. This is actually kind of nostalgic because, like, first of all, when the iPhone 6 came out, I watched the launch event. The launch event happened while I was at school, but it happened while I was in first period, which was video productions. And my video productions teacher was an Apple nerd. So instead of having us do, like, schoolwork, he's like, oh, let's just watch the Apple event this period. So that was pretty cool. So the iPhone 6 sort of like coming out and being like the first iPhone to be big, you know? There's also the fact that like that one time I found the iPhone 6 laying in the road, and that was when the iPhone 6 was still a relatively new phone. It kind of sucks whoever lost that iPhone 6, to be honest. The nostalgia goes even further because this is the phone that I bought after my Stylo 2. Because I wanted a phone for slow motion. That was literally all this was going to be for. It was just going to be for a slow motion camera. But, well, I actually kind of fell in love with the phone and used it a lot more than I expected I would. And I'm pretty proud of myself for keeping this iPhone 6 in good condition. Taking the case off, you can see this thing is near mint. Yeah, that just wiped right off. Like tiny, barely noticeable dents, because every now and then a grain of sand or whatever would get inside the case. In fact, most of the damage is on the screen because I stopped using a screen protector pretty soon after I got it. Following the iPhone 6, I have another phone from Jake Carroll's phone lot, the ZTE Z Max Pro. Like I said with the ZTE Maven 3, ZTE just is really good at designing phones. And this phone is no exception. I love the accent colors like gold on blue, and this thick curved screen, which you can tell it's thick by how thick the cracks are. But yeah, I mean, it works. This phone actually has a boot up sound too, so let's experience that loveliness. Because yep, it's a T-Mobile phone. That boot up sound is kind of nostalgic because one of my very first phones, the Samsung Gravity Touch, had that boot up sound. Yeah, if only it weren't for the cracks, I would actually use this phone probably like a lot, because it's massive, it's a huge phone, but man, these cracks are just so thick, it's hard to see through them. In fact, the Galaxy S9 Plus can actually see a lot better through it than I can. Like, rubbing your finger across this is just not pleasant. Like yeah, if I tilt it this way, you can kind of see like all the pits in the screen. Either way, this is like kind of a fancy budget phone. Snapdragon 617. Like that's kind of a beast of a processor for a budget phone. Like, this might have been like a $300 or $400 phone, I don't know for sure. And it has a 1080p screen, like, just look at that clarity. It's pretty cool. I won't ever really use it, though, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, this phone is on Marshmallow, which is kind of outdated, but it's still usable today. But yeah, that's that. Now, this phone is also kind of a staple of my life. The Boost Mobile LG Stylo 4. As you can see, I still have my Spigen case, and the case has definitely seen better days. iPhone XS Max screen protector. Another Dollar Tree screen protector, and I've had that on there for like a year now. And it's cracked and beat up, but it's still perfectly usable for me. You don't feel them. Just a comfortable screen protector to use, other than it doesn't really have a great oleophobic coating on it. It gets grime and stuff all over it. And yeah, if I take this case off, you can see that this Stylo 4 has a blue back, which is not the stock one. Some of you may remember from some past videos, I actually replaced the screen on this thing as well, because the original screen randomly died on me for no good reason. This replacement screen has lasted longer than the original screen, which by the way, if I could keep using this thing up to October, I would have used this phone for 4 years, because I got this thing in October of 2018, and I've basically used it quite frequently since then. The battery life on this phone kinda sucks. But it's still usable as a daily driver. That was also very quiet, you probably didn't hear it, oh well. And much like the LG Stylo 2, the LG Stylo 4 is just sentimental to me. This thing has been through a lot of like the best moments of my life. And this Stylo 4 is on Android 8.1.0 Oreo. And then yeah, this is what my home screen setup looks like. And I still have a stylus in it. I'm not one of those plebs that loses their stylus. It's totally not like I somehow lost the stylus and had to get a different Stylo 4 to steal the stylus from. Okay, and technically Andrew lost the stylus, not me. Probably one of my favorite phones ever. And yep, I do have another Stylo 4. And also, yep, I did have to steal the stylus from it. So this is a funny story. I was talking about how I needed to get a new stylus for my Stylo 4. Then my dad's girlfriend was like, "Oh, I might have a stylus for your Stylo 4 because I used to have a Stylo 4. And I'm like, "Oh, cool, if you could get that for me, that'd be great." Well, and she comes with her entire Stylo 4. And she's like, "Here, you can take the stylus out of this and you can do whatever you want with the phone, throw it away or whatever." And I'm just like, excuse me, throw away the phone? It's basically it's like in really good condition. Other than the back is like really destroyed because of the case, of course. That's just the thing with the Stylo 4. The back is like really cheap and scratches hella easily. But anyways, I'm like, well, heck yeah, I want to keep this thing. And as you can see, this Stylo 4 works perfectly. And it has T-Mobile, but it doesn't have a boot up sound, which that's kind of sad. Although actually, maybe it does have a boot up sound. It does have a boot up sound. I'm pretty sure. Okay, I guess it doesn't have a boot up sound. Weird. I could have sworn I remembered this phone having a boot up sound. I don't know what happened, but this does have a boot up sound. I was right about that. See? I knew it. And yeah, there are a few reasons why I actually like to keep this phone. First of all, my Stylo 4 is not all original. There's obviously the fact that I got a replacement screen and a replacement back for it. This phone has never been fixed before. It's all original. On top of that though, since this is the original screen, it's actually much brighter. And then finally, this one actually still has good battery life. But just like the Boost one, this one's on Android 8.1.0 Oreo. That concludes this one. Next up, we have another phone from Jake Harrell's phone lot, the iPhone 6s. Now this is pretty cool just because this phone still gets the latest iOS version, which at the moment is like iOS 14, I think? I'm not really well versed in Apple stuff. And yeah, this thing is such an improvement over the iPhone 6. Like, did you see that? This thing booted up like hella fast. So yeah, the latest iOS version is iOS 15, because this one's on iOS 14.4.2. And I named it Drugs. Kind of like my iPhone 6 is named Weapon. That was a joke about how, like, oh, the school administrators, when they see it signed into the Wi-Fi network, are going to be like, ah, Weapon signed into the Wi-Fi network. So I named this one Drugs. Drugs signed into the Wi-Fi network. It also has, like, a lot better haptics, and there's just mild improvements that make this better than the iPhone 6. Unfortunately, though, this one has 88% battery health, which, like, is fine, but the battery life on this thing just sucks. Last time I used it, I got 1 single hour of screen on time. But either way, I still plan to use this thing until I can't anymore. I just need to get a case for it. By the way, it's been a few days since I've recorded the phone collection video, and I now have a case for this iPhone 6s. It's an R2-D2 case, but I don't know if it's actually like genuine licensed. It's just a nice blue color. It's a very comfortable case, but it's also a cheap piece of crap. But anyways, and by the way, yeah, it's like pretty much mint condition, which is also like really nice. So that's that, not much to say about it. The iPhone 6s isn't really as nostalgic. Although actually it is, because my cousin had an iPhone 6s. You guys may remember I made a video about me breaking an iPhone 6s that used to be my cousin's. I still don't know what was wrong with that phone. So I guess that does kind of make the 6s a nostalgic phone, although not really. When my cousin had the 6s, that's when I had my Stylo 2, and I was pretty happy with the Stylo 2 at the time. I wasn't actually jealous of her having a 6s or anything. Now, from that, next up is quite a huge leap. Also from Jake Harrell's phone lot, a Pixel 3 XL. Now this does kind of have a problem. I mean, first of all, the front glass is cracked at the bottom. The back is also shattered, which kind of sucks, but oh well. Sides are like really damaged, which tells me that this had a case on it. Usually when you see markings like this, that's just a telltale sign that this was in a case. And it does work, but yeah. It has an AMOLED dot and also some AMOLED damage. On the plus side, I've noticed that if your brightness is just below 75%, all that happens is this glitching. But yeah, you can see it's got a couple of lines in this OLED dot. Like basically the bottom part of the screen moves up a little bit. Yeah, you can see it there with the Play Store icon. There's like a seam across the screen, and it just feels very weird to use. I still might try to use this phone every now and then though, because it's still like quite a usable phone. If I turn this brightness up just a little bit more, there it goes. So like right here it's fine, but for some reason it just goes completely white and green. That is so weird. Oh yeah, and by the way, it's on Android 12. I forgot to show that, but whatever. And the second to last phone I'm covering, the Samsung Galaxy A51. This was cool. I bought this phone for $100 right before Black Friday, pretty much. That is still just a steal for this phone. When this thing released, it was like $300, so yeah. It has like an on-screen fingerprint scanner, a punch hole, and I have like a pretty nice case on it, although I kind of hate the case, to be honest. And it has a screen protector, but you can't tell because it fits perfectly inside the case. I use it alongside my S9 Plus very frequently. In fact, before I got my S9 Plus, I was considering getting this instead of an S9 Plus. This is officially like my secondary main phone. In fact, I'd even go as far as to say that this is my main phone, making my S9 Plus my secondary main phone. And as you can see here, this is on One UI 3.1 and Android 11. And I have gestures on this phone too, and they're actually like less buggy than on the LG K31 Rebel. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah. And it just has like a really cool looking back. Ignore the stupid bubble on my case. Yeah, like the back of this phone, really shiny and colorful. And it has a freaking like triple camera setup. There's 4 cameras, but really 3 of them are usable. It doesn't have a telephoto, but if I want to use a telephoto, guess what? Got my S9 Plus. And then there's the phone I was filming this on, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus from US Cellular. I have this Tech 21 case on it. I also have this cheap Amazon screen protector on it, which is cracked. As you can see, it's pretty badly cracked. You probably saw in the vlog, I dropped it at Idaho, and that's how this initial crack formed, and then it spread. And then it's just been like causing more cracks as it goes. The S9 Plus is stuck on Android 10 because yay Samsung. I'm mostly upset that it's stuck on One UI 2.5 because I like the look of One UI 3 more. And that's the last phone in the collection. Oh, I'm so glad to be done with this video, ladies and gentlemen.